Hold on, I'm gonna see if my wife wants to get in here too, real quick. Let me
Sure,
see.
sounds good,
She
sir.
just came in the door. Okay, 1 second. Hey, babe.
And again, thank you for joining us for Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden's Writer's Wordshop right here on the Voice17104.com with the returning Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden. And also indie author Neil Owens is about to join us here live on the broadcast today as we talk about racial reconciliation. On the program, we're also going to be sharing some photos and some memories from Dr. Gadsden's most recent trip, and I'm sure he's excited to tell us more. So without further delay, I'll present to some, introduce to others.
Oh
Reverend
yeah.
Dr. Nathaniel Gadsden, welcome back, sir.
Hey man. Hey man. Appreciate it. Brother Neil Owens, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Nate?
I'm doing great, doing real good.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, Brother
Let me
Neil, what's
pour
going
this
on,
over.
sir?
Hey, Chris.
Bless you, man. Welcome back.
Yes,
We was
absolutely.
Batman and Robin last week on the
Yeah, you made it
program.
work too. Good,
To
good
God be
duo.
the glory, man. To God be the
Yeah,
glory.
Yeah.
amen to that.
Well, man, it's really good to be back again. Like I said, we had an excellent trip. And I'm gonna talk about that tonight and talk about some things around racial reconciliation, which is definitely something we need to be talking about because I think the whole racism thing and the caste system is trying to rear its ugly head. It never went away. It's always been with us. And with this election coming up, you're going to hear more and more crazy nonsense, especially from the orange man. You know, he just is addicted to being stupid. Um, shows no decorum whatsoever, but it is what it is. We know who the devil is, and also we know who Christ is. Sometimes we don't know the devil. The devil can be sitting there with his hand on your shoulder, telling you all the things you need to hear and stab you dead in your back. So we know that happens as well. But what we got to do is make sure that we do what we got to do. And I'm all out. I'm all in for Kamala Harris being the next president of these United States. I'm so, Joe Biden was doing the best he could. I was so glad he stepped aside because the brother was clearly, having a difficult time putting it together. And at his age and all that stuff, I think Trump would have ate him up in the election. But now we got a whole new ball game. And I sure hope that people wake up, get energized. Brother called me last night. He was real upset. He said here locally, there's some people that went in, well, one of the TV stations, whatever, went into one of the local establishments where some brothers were. These are all Black men, at least over 50, 60 years of age. And they were talking stupid, talking about not voting. One guy was saying he's leaning more towards Trump and all this kind of this real negative stuff, the question has to be asked, what the heck do you see in that dude? I mean, in any way, shape, or form. And then his so-called running mate, the guy selected as a vice president, is coming out talking about people not having babies, and he called them. I forget the term he used for the women that don't have children. But what? All this crazy nut stuff, and the hate that's rolling is just incredible, man. I don't know. Have you been following that stuff, Neil?
Yeah, I have, Nate. Definitely, I'm most definitely. Um,
Well, I'm glad to hear that because some of these cats are tuned out, man. These cats, I'm like, I don't
well,
know which planet these cats are on, you
yeah,
know.
I tell you, a lot of I've been saying this for a while, man. A lot of black men, man. First of all, a lot of them, especially a lot of young ones. I mean, they really don't read, man. They don't read. They don't
No,
watch the news. I mean, all they do is get stuff off of TikTok and all these other crazy social media stuff, Facebook,
uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
that's what they gun it. And they really just don't have a clue, man. Don't have any understanding of what's going on, any knowledge, any insight, nothing.
and they're proud
Um,
of it. That's the crazy
yeah,
part. They're
and
proud of
and
it.
yeah, and they are. They're very proud of, it, and they think that they are intelligent.
Yeah, man. They talk.
And
They
that's the
talk like
sad
they're
part. They
really.
think they're intelligent. They think they,
Hmm.
but it's a case of it's a case that you cannot change certain people, man. They're we have those among us. They will always be among us. They was among
That's
us
right.
in slavery, so they're not going anywhere. They're gonna always be among us, and what we have
That's
to
right.
do is prevail over that.
That's right. That's right.
Despite that.
That's right. And the reason why it's so near and dear to my heart right now, of course, I wasn't going to vote for Trump no matter what. So let me just be honest about that. What they call it, the never Trumpers. Well, you can put my name down in that book.
Absolutely.
But after having gone down in the civil rights, tour there, man, and to remind ourselves of that history that we have lived through. You and I have lived through some stuff. Anybody that's of age, who is not asleep, should know that, man, oh man, I mean, they're trying to wind the clock back. And that clock,
Yeah.
man, that history was something else, wasn't it? Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And
way before Emmett Till. Mm-hmm.
that's their goal, man. They
That's
want to take us back. I mean,
it's
they
the
trying to
truth.
bring back Jim Crow.
Yes, they
Um,
are.
and
What's the
this is
2025 plan that they keep talking about? This 2025 plan, whatever they call it. They said that Joy Reid is going to, on her show starting Monday, is going to dedicate every last one of her shows to break down, for a whole week or something like that. This 2025. She said, we got to know what this thing is about, man. And it's trying to take us back, trying to take us back. And by any means necessary. Let's put it that way. So listen, I wanted to I promised that I would talk tonight about the trip that we took and just kind of give an overview. We are going to do something in person. We're planning something. I think it's for in August or September. I got to get the exact dates. Sat down with our events planner the other day, and we came with some really good stuff. But anyhow, we want to make sure this is a thorough conversation. We're bringing some of the organizers from Messiah University to talk about why they, went after this grant, why they were awarded the grant, and then the purpose of the institute itself. It is called Thriving Together, and it's a program through Messiah University, and it's Congregations for Racial Justice. And so they basically selected 6 white congregations and 6 predominantly black congregations, predominantly white, predominantly black, and want us to get together and look at this history of civil rights in this country. And they started way back and came on up to where we are now. And then actually took us down to a lot of the places that we've read about for years. The 16th Street Baptist Church where the 4 little girls were, murdered and so many other people were hurt. I mean, we forget about all the people just hurt in that explosion. And then also we got a chance to meet people who actually lived through it. And so, hopefully and I think we have a couple videos, Brother Chris. I know you pulled up some things for me. Thank you. But if you can find a video where the sisters are singing the freedom songs, because they also give some commentary. I would love to see if you can play part of that. You don't have to play the whole thing because it was pretty, lengthy presentation, but just to give it a flavor of that. And then we got a chance to meet some people who, other parts of the South who were, dealing with the racial injustice. We ran across something that I wasn't aware of. Brother Neil, you may have, because I know you do a lot of research. The Clayton, it was a Clayton? Okay, I'm gonna find it in here, but the Clayton 12. These were 12 young people who integrated schools in Clayton County. I'm thinking Georgia. I could be wrong, or was it Alabama? But anyhow, I'd never heard this history because we always hear about the Little Rock Nine and other persons who, integrated these all-white schools. Well, this Clayton thing was a monster, man. They did a movie on it. A documentary on it. And so they have a number of people who actually lived through that. Those 12 kids had to go into some serious racist stuff, and yeah, it was all that. National Guard called in the whole bit. So they had this wonderful monument. At that point, I was just so beat down. Me and my wife both retired. So I took the pictures, zoom of it from the bus. So you get a chance to see the monument that they placed there, these 12 students. But boy, did they go through something. That's one of the things that hit me. There's a lot of history that's not been told. And we just can't lay back on our laurels and keep talking about the same things over and over. There's so much out there, man. And so people, when you know something, write it down or explain it to somebody that can write it down and, get people excited about it because our history is still evolving and being unpacked. And because there's so much of it now, they're trying to stop us from even knowing it at all. In fact, one of the states just took demanded that all Black history is taken out of the public schools. I don't know if they can do anything about the private schools, but public schools cannot teach Black history. What state was that? Just this last week. Was that Oklahoma or someplace like that, Neil? I forget. I'll look it up, do a little research on that. But yeah, man, that was crazy. But anyhow, let me stop for a minute. Man, thank you for the last 2 weeks, brother. You stepped up and did an excellent job of hosting the show, and I appreciate it, man. you got the energy, brother. You you laid it out there. So wait a minute, what's going on? I'm being supplanted here. The brother that took over. You were good, man. You were real good. And I know that you picked up the torch because Ro was going to come on last week and kind of lead it, and she couldn't get on. She told me, she texted me before. She said she couldn't even get on when you were just, doing your piece, and something went haywire with her Facebook. No, what is it called? The Zoom, her Zoom. And so I found out that that's something that's happened literally around the world. There were different people who were affected because of something that happened on their end. But again, man, thank you for bringing in the poets that you brought in and just the organization of it all. Real good, real good. And before I just start running my mouth too, let me get you in here to talk about your book signing that's coming up pretty soon. And for those persons who don't know anything about it, Neil, tell us about your book signing.
Yeah, my book signing is the 3rd of August. It's at the Mahogany Bookstore in at National Harbor, DC.
Yeah, nice.
And it's honoring James Baldwin's 100th birthday.
All right.
And Black Books Matter. So I
Mhm.
will be there signing releases of my previous books and also my new release that comes out August 1, which is The Rise and Fall of the Fourth Reich.
Fourth, right. Now, that's next week, isn't it? That's next
Yeah, that's
Saturday.
next week. Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Oh, man.
that's next weekend. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, next Saturday.
I gotta
Absolutely.
talk to my wife because again, she lived in DC for years. I was born in Charlotte, but then moved to DC for most of her life. I graduated from school there and then went to college there. Um, and so we get down there and her sisters and all, people all live down that way. So we go down every now and then, but I'm gonna see if we can make it down. And what time are you actually doing your thing?
It's between 11 and 2.
Between 11 and 2. Okay. All right. So if we can get down there early. I see, brother. Okay, there you go. Black Books Manifest. Wow. Yeah, I want to come to that, man. I want to come to that. So we have to make that happen. Okay, local author. This is local author. Okay, in addition, finance. Okay, fantastic. All right, good stuff, man. Mahogany Books, National Harbor. And
Yeah.
National Harbor is a beautiful place too. If you've never been there, folks, you want to get down and you get a chance to meet Brother Neil Owens. Sound like there's gonna be a whole lot of other authors there too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a few, and they limited it though. They sent out. They only selected a certain group of authors from DC
Okay,
to
okay,
participate. I was one of the people that they invited.
fantastic. Good stuff, man. That's great. Great, great, great. That's quite an honor. And they're recognizing your work.
Yeah,
It's good stuff. Okay. Do you know any other authors that might be that we may know some
I don't know the other names. I'm sure you do know some of them,
okay,
but they're all indie authors.
okay.
They wanted to do an
Independent authors.
indie edition. So they're all
Okay.
indie authors, and I'm sure you know some of them. I don't know their who because they did only an individual piece. They didn't include everybody in together. They
Mm-hmm.
sent an individual letter, notice, invite,
Okay.
and but I know there are a few others that's going to be there,
Good stuff.
um,
Good stuff.
and I'm sure you do know some of their work
Yeah.
there.
As I said, Black Books Matter. So the main thing is also, folks, go down and invest in some books. Go down and get yourself some books. We well read and support our authors, especially our indie authors. Independent authors are out there doing their thing and writing, and some of them really should be lifted up higher than they
Absolutely.
have been. Yeah, yeah, because what happens is a lot of these authors get these, big corporations behind them and they, promote them, this and that, but then you read their works and they're good works, don't get me wrong, excellent works. But then you see some of the indie authors, you're like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute now, and I think Neil Owens is one example of that. Somebody who, I'm glad you're getting the recognition and everything, but I hope that more people will discover your work and really, put it out there, but yeah, I just hope that happens for you, man.
Yeah,
Because you have
appreciate
a
that.
good
Yeah,
voice,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Great voice. Yeah, let me change my glasses here, man. I'm up to wondering why I'm not seeing things right. They're just dawning, man. I don't have my reading glasses on. I'm at one of those stages, brother, where I gotta have it. Let's do this real quick, brother, Chris, if you don't mind bringing up some of the, pictures of, our trip that we just took, from July 14th through the 20th. We went again, with Messiah, University. There was some 44, 45 of us, on the bus. They showed, outstanding, I'm gonna say it again, outstanding videos all the way down. This is, Dr. Oh my goodness, I always mess up her name. Dr. Jean Corey. Okay, Dr. Jean Corey, she's a retired professor on the left there, retired professor at, Messiah University. That's my wife, Pat, standing there. And we're in the, Martin Luther King, uh, exhibit there. And I'm trying to remember exactly which one that was. I think we were in, let me look here. Spartanburg, South Carolina, perhaps there. No, we were in Atlanta, Georgia. We were in Atlanta, Georgia, I believe, at this time. That's actually, a replica of Dr. Martin Luther King, in jail as he wrote the letter from a Birmingham jail, and they were just posing there. You can't see King as much, but Brother Chris is going to show us some other pictures there. That's me standing there as well. Just getting the picture on. And then that's the actual picture. That's a beautiful picture. That's big, life size, in fact, of King and Coretta Scott King. Just beautiful. This is a fantastic museum there. And then you see that's Dr. King. Where again, this is in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's my wife standing there next to that was the actual wagon, if you will, that his body was in, and right next to that is a big cross of like look like flowers, and they were obviously artificial flowers, but anyhow, that was on top of it, and that's standing right next to the right of that picture. But that's the actual wagon that his body was taken through the through Atlanta. Yeah, this path. Now here we're on the bus, and this is where Rosa Parks was actually. She caught the bus. It was like over to the right of the picture there. She was just catching that bus and refused to give up her seat. And they have a statue of her that's kind of probably about maybe 4 feet high. That's on that one corner over there. Once again, I just didn't get out. Some people got out and took pictures. This fountain had a lot of historical significance to it too. The guide that had us, that was with us, explained all of this. And there was another building too that had a lot of significance in terms of, civil rights and things that happened, some riot stuff and all that. This sister here, she's one of the people she's a professor at one of the colleges down the way, I think Albany. And so anyhow, she was one of the young people who marched and all that back in the day. But she, along with the other lady that you'll see, Ruthie, what is her name? Well, it'll pop up because I think we had it on there. They were outstanding civil rights. That's my wife with this lady here. I wish I could have gone there. Ruta Harris is the person. Yeah, we were in Albany, Georgia. Okay, Ruta Harris is the lady in the green there, and she's the one that hoped we would get some video off of my site there, which shows them singing. In fact, I did a Facebook Live, and we had a lot of people following me at that time. We're standing in front of a replica of a bus that they actually firebombed. You remember that famous bus where the Freedom Riders went down and they stopped in one of the small towns there, and they literally burnt the bus down. And as the people got out, they beat the crap out of him. I mean, they killed the one white minister. Just beat him so bad he eventually died like the next day of his. But I mean, it was all planned. They knew they were going into this area, and they were told in advance. They said, listen, try to stay on the bus. And they surrounded the bus with like some 400 or 500 people. Surrounded the bus, and the crowd just grew and grew and grew. And then as they bombed the darn thing, when they started getting off, it just no mercy. Police right there. Guess what? The people on the bus got arrested, not the ones who bombed the bus or anything like that. That's me standing in front of some of the people that were actually put in prison for, protesting and all that. They went to jail. Those are a lot of pictures, beautiful wall. You can't see it, but they're holding up their little signs as they were. And that was, of course, we walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and that is a beautiful, big life, bigger than life size picture there. And that's John Lewis in the trench coat. They said he always wore a trench coat, no matter what, that was his signature, like, and that backpack on his back. He's a young man at this time in his 20s, but they're getting ready to get busted upside the head and mowed over by the so-called state troopers who said they cannot march. And the question was, why couldn't they march? It was a peaceful march. Nobody had weapons or anything. But man, when you see what they did to those folks, and you've seen them push them back and all that, but they showed more extensive. As we went across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, they had these monuments and memorials over there as you walk across to the part where they were actually attacked. And then remember, there was a second march. Actually, it was the third march, and that was when they first King and then went over, and then Dr. King had agreed that they would just go across the bridge and then turn around and go back. That's the part that I didn't know about. And so the second march, Dr. King led, he was not in the first march there, but he did go across, and it was just symbolic. And they turned around. Well, a lot of people were angry at King, they said at that time, because it's like, why'd you turn back around? But he didn't want that scene to happen again. And then once the governor and the president, everybody stepped in, that's when they were able to do the whole march to Selma to Montgomery, to Selma, Montgomery to Selma. And there you see, these are some of the people who marched, and it was the Bloody Sunday, Mothers of the Civil Rights March. And you can see, I can't see all the names there, but this is right as you go across the bridge where they were first attacked. All these monuments are right there. And also there are some steps that went down. They wouldn't allow us to go down there. They just felt like you just don't know what's happening, And then builders of the movements and monuments, and you see the various people. There are a lot of names, and you see monuments everywhere, all throughout the South. They have a lot of wonderful, outstanding. Man, I'm going to show you some things. Hopefully, that was, of course, John Lewis. This is Fred Hunger, I think his name was. This guy said, "Get in the way, unbought and unbossed." Feed the hungry. That's what he's saying. Feed the hungry. Okay. And that was the 60th anniversary, road to the 60th anniversary of the march. And February 22nd, it's going to be in 2025. Those are some people that were on the bus with us. A lot of ministers, almost all of them are pastors, and people of their church. Each church could send about 3 people. That's us getting ready to go across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I just took that picture. But we're literally standing right there, getting ready to march across the bridge. And it's a pretty long bridge. I thought to myself, I never thought about how long the bridge is. But there are other groups that are constantly. Now, this is one of the parks. And I believe this is where they did the lynching park. I think that's it, but we'll see as we go along. But it says invocation, and that's a beautiful saying. And then here you go. Now, this is outside, and you see, they just have tremendous statues, and this is in the lynching park, and this is right near the end, I believe. And so the pictures, you keep going there, but there are some outstanding statues and stuff. And this is an primarily outdoor park, a pretty long walk. There's one brother who put this together. He's an attorney, Brian. Is it Brian Smith? But anyhow, his story has been documented. They showed a documentary on him. That brother's a bad brother, man. This dude. When I say he put it together, he funded it. He funded this, and he wanted to have a memorial that we would never forget. And so this is one part of it. And I'm standing. That's me, of course, standing there. And then, so this is So these are a lot of the names and all the people that were lynched. And again, you'll see another part of it as well. And those are hands of people that were coming across in the mid-Atlantic slave trade, and some of them literally decided they would not go, and they gave it their life. Some of them went into the water to avoid, with the impending slavery. Like I said, this is all outside. You start at one part, you have to go all the way through, and goes around, and pretty spectacular. Here you see statues there, and the women were very central to the success of the marches and the resistance that took place. A lot of times we lift up men, but there were a lot of mothers and grandmothers and others. And that's my wife standing there. That you can see those statues are pretty big. So now these look like caskets. So in every last one of those, it has names of people who were lynched. It's breathtaking when you see, and this is just one shot of them, but there's these are the ones that are laying down. And you'll see some others in a second here. Okay. And then this is at the beginning of that. And this is Toni Morrison, something she says. We didn't get the whole saying there. So now we're standing next to, you're inside but it's that whole park. It's kind of inside outside. Every that's one of those names of people that were lynched when they were lynched, and it's unbelievable, and, And but other thing they tell you is now that's also part of that memorial for people being lynched. But I will tell you, and they said a lot of people lynched that they could not record. So these are just the people we knew of, and they said it's probably a whole lot more that we didn't know of. And this is the beginning of that monument. It shows the our people in chains, our ancestors, And these things are like you can see how tall they are, as tall as I am, and spectacular. Up on the hill, that's where you see all those persons that were representing the persons of lynch. And the way they did it was some of them were low on the floor. Then the more you go through, they keep rising up to actually, it feels like you're looking at the persons being lynched because they have it up, like they're hanging, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's my wife standing. That's the same monument, she's standing in front, showing another side of it. Okay. This is another park, and you can see how beautiful that piece is. That is a huge piece, and this is a whole different park, a different part of the city, a different city probably. I wish I. And this is in the church, the 16th Street Baptist Church, where the little girls died. That's a picture of Jesus hanging, as you can see. That came from, I think they said from France, and there were people who got together in France and decided they wanted to do something. So they actually had this mural made and they sent that in. Now, all the other pictures were white Jesuses back in the day. So the interesting part about that is, of course, it's a black church, but then people in France, when they send a depiction of Jesus, they send a black Jesus, and have him being crucified, And there we go, 16th Street Baptist Church. We're outside. They do a beautiful job of explaining everything to you. You have to put a mask on when you go in. Still, but they show you how the bomb was placed, and just an incredible scene. Beautiful church, well preserved, and that's the actual organ. Everything is just like it was, that Sunday morning. That's Dr. The one leaning down. That's Dr. Harper, Diane Harper. She's here in Harrisburg. That sister is a German scholar. She speaks German, very, very well, but also she's done so much. She went to school down in the South back in the day when all this was happening. She went to Fisk University and a couple others. She's taught all throughout the South and even here in Harrisburg Community College, whatever. It was good to have her on the bus. And she's representing a Capital Presbyterian Church, but what a scholar. She's just a great person. And that's the where Dr. King, preached from and others. Yeah. And this was where all of the kids in particular poured in when they did the children's march and saved the the whole thing. So those are great pictures there, Chris. And it's probably, I know you probably have a lot more, but anyhow, we'll just stop right there. Just to give you some idea real quick of the magnitude of the tour, we started out on July 14th at 6 a.m. We departed from the university there. We went to the University of Virginia. That's where they had at Charlottesville. That's where they had those cats marching with the torches and recreating that whole thing that the Nazis did. Do you remember that, Neil? As they marched through with the torches and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I watched that whole thing play out on television that day with the
Mhm.
peace man, and you noticed that there was no police around. I mean, they wanted that scene to go out. They wanted that to happen.
Okay.
I was just watching it, man, and you could just see that there was no police around,
Yeah.
and those Nazis and all them, they were just, they wanted a confrontation to occur.
Hey, man, big time. Let me stop for just a minute. Aisha Mobley. Hey, I understand she joined us. How you doing?
Actually disappeared.
Aisha? Yep, all right. She said she may what? Oh, she may have left now. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So hopefully she'll come back. Aisha is excellent community worker. She is a sister who really got it going. She has a great spirit. In fact, I'm happy to say that I'm just joining what's called the NASA group. It's a group of therapeutic groups dealing with people who have addiction and all that. And she is the director of outpatient services but also she's been heralded many times here in our area as a community worker, someone who really helps out the poor, persons who are incarcerated and all that kind of stuff. So she's on top of it. But anyhow, hopefully she'll come back in. But yeah, so you were saying though about that whole thing about Charlottesville?
Yeah, they as I watched it that day on television, like I said, the police was nowhere around, man. They
Yeah,
was just out.
yeah.
They wanted that confrontation to occur. They wanted all that to happen.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
it's a lot of bad stuff going on, and it's man, it's sad that a lot of our brothers, man, are not in tune
Yeah, yeah.
like they should be. There's
No,
too many of them that's not. There's a lot of, of course, there's a lot of brothers that are focusing and down
sure,
and understand,
sure.
but there's too many of them that's not,
It's
and
not. We
that's
had a dynamic sister who she works there at the university, but she's more in like the clerical field, that kind of thing. But on her spare time, she does a lot of the tours and history of that area. So she was the one who came in and explained all that that happened that day, and not just that day. I mean, it just been happening on campus, and it's so interesting. I was thinking, and then Pat said it, and then after I got off, we were standing there a long time. She took us through a lot of little things and monuments, and the heat started kind of getting to me. So I said, I'm gonna move over here to the shade. And then a white guy came over, and I forget which church he was with. And he looked at me and said, have you noticed that I don't think we've seen any black people down here? I mean, just walking through the. Whatever. He said, wow. I said, man, I'm kind of saying the same thing, like what's going on? And then they did say they think that's about 10% of the population, student population, maybe, that. You couldn't have told us that day though, because everyone we saw. And then, of course, when you picture, and they showed us the church where a lot of people were inside praying and doing things. And that's when that whole thing jumped off. So they basically had those people surrounded in that church, and they don't know what would have happened if eventually the police did come, and then also, remember the young lady was hit and killed by the car. Guy just ran through the crowd. Yeah, man.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on. Jeez.
Young lady was hit by the car, man. The car deliberately, I mean, it was intentional, man.
Deliberately.
That was
Yeah.
intentionally to roll over. These it's just a case of, and that's what I say about these brothers, man.
Mhm.
Like that clown up there in Rhode Island, who's
Oh.
in charge of that Black Lives Matter, organized a group there, whatever.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's really one. He's a very ignorant man, man.
Very ignorant guy.
And
Yeah, something.
he think he's intelligent.
Yeah, no question, no question. And let me say this here. One of the things reason why I want to talk about this tonight is because, and we're going to show a video, is because we got a lot of work to do for racial reconciliation in this country, throughout the world, really. Can't just simply keep saying this American, because believe me, this is happening all over, man. We travel, went over to places like France and places like that. Man, Africans go and they're treating us people like they're leopards, man, and discriminating against them and all other kinds of nonsense going on. So our people are everywhere. The question is, why is this thing festering so much, and why is it coming back? Well, we know why, because they say power can seize nothing without a fight, and these
Right.
people feel like they're going to lose. Like,
Well,
man,
yeah,
they're,
they feel that like here in this country, they feel that the white population is going to be wiped out,
yeah,
is going to be removed, and they try, and it's just blatant racism that never has disappeared, never has changed.
that's right.
They allowed it to fester after the
Mm-hmm.
Civil War
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't remove, all those people were traitors. And they should never been allowed to build monuments and all this kind of stuff and
Mm-hmm.
name
Yeah,
schools after their generals and all
that's
these
what they
kind of things
did.
they did. I mean, all
Mm-hmm.
this was allowed, and it was whatever, to make peace with them or something, and to keep it. It was
Yeah.
so they allowed that to just fester,
Well,
and that
the point is, back in the day, they did that public lynching, man. I mean, when they showed, we went to one spot where they said, if you press that button, you may not want to see what you see. I mean, because they're showing you how, these cats lynch, man, your eyes pop out, your tongue comes out, it's kind of gruesome sight. And the
yeah,
one thing that always got me, and they showed it again, and that was, oh, they had just come out of church a lot of times. They were
yeah,
dressed in their so-called
yeah,
Sunday best, and they
Yeah,
had their kids in front. The
right.
girls are standing there
That's
smiling,
right.
looking back at
That's
their
right.
paper.
Right.
What? I mean, the pictures are right there. You can't
Yeah.
deny that it didn't happen. It happened. So my thing is, I always got to get fired up to write, and that's just me. But I'm on a mission. I want to write about all that, that we saw, and also just put it in context, not just poetry either. I'm talking about, prose and articles and everything. We got to tell this story, man, because they're trying to
Yeah.
erase these stories. But thank God for, like I said, Messiah University taking them to the Southern tour. And I can only imagine that some of those sites might be under attack, because I mean, if this stuff keeps festering the way it's going now, yeah, they ain't gonna want to hear this stuff. Let me say this also real quick. We did go to Spartanburg, Virginia, South Carolina. I'm sorry. I went to MLK, like I said, Center. You saw that. We departed, went to Albany. Albany was a major player in the civil rights and all the stuff that's going on. You tend to forget that, but they showed us a lot there. I went to the Charles Sherrod Civil Rights Park, and there was a lot of stuff that happened there. The protests, the water holes, all kinds of nonsense. We talked about Ruta Harris. And Brother Chris, can you, did I put up on Facebook, and if I didn't, I'll try it now, where they were singing, two women singing freedom songs? And could you find a little clip of that? I know we took a picture, and I know I had it on Facebook Live, but I hope I actually have the singing, because a lot of people got into that. It was really popping with that, and was happy that I had that on. Here we go. Thank you. Yeah. And the sister sitting down, Ruta Harris, she's been in movies, stage plays, the whole bit. She was one of the young people who was deeply involved in that. So those songs are the songs that they sung when they were in jail. And she was, teaching us all those songs. Think about it, she's 83 years old now, so she's still vibrant. I mean, she was sitting down most of the time. And then when you saw pictures of us with the other sister who was a professor, and she also has some songs that she did as well. Okay, let's say hello to, let's get Aisha Mobley to come on back on here. Aisha, how you doing? Hopefully she can bring her camera up. I don't know if you can. Let me see. Is she there?
How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing? This is
Sitting here
Aisha Mobley, y'all.
working and listening to you.
All right, appreciate that. So glad you came on. And Aisha, listen, your father and I, we came out of high school together, so this is our era. But how much of the stuff did you do? By the way, this is Neil Owens. Neil Owens, this is Aisha Mobley, okay? Neil is an
Hello,
author.
sir.
Has a book, Rise and Fall, the fourth, right? I keep wanting to say third, man, but it's the fourth. And he's going to be his book next Saturday down there at the National Harbor in Washington, D.C. And
Awesome.
so it's actually a book. Tell about, it's a book festival, right? A Black Book Festival, Neil? You're muted right now, brother. Neil, you're muted.
Is the Black Book Matters Festival, and is also celebrating James Baldwin's 100th birthday.
Fantastic. Yeah. I didn't realize that. That's good stuff. Aisha, real quick, tell us about what you do over there. Where you sitting at? Right? You still at work? What's going on there?
I am still at work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the director of outpatient programs Nasser Consulting Group, and Nasser is an Arabic word for victory. Our owner actually is Muslim, although most of us who work here are Christian. But that's hence the name. So we do drug and alcohol counseling, evaluations and assessments, couples counseling, family counseling, adults and youth. And so we're here located at 1500 North 2nd Street. We're on the bus route. And then if anyone out there who knows me knows I'm all about helping folks and resources. So our clients get whatever connections I have are open to my clients, to help them get connected with jobs and mentoring and whatever they need, clothing, food. We try to make sure they get what they need, so that we can remove those barriers that typically cause people to want to use or relapse. So we try to do that. And then I answer my phone if they text or call and my eyes are open and I see it, I try to respond to it right away. Because usually if they're calling or texting at a crazy hour, it's usually something emergent for them anyway. And so I try to answer and respond within a timely manner to keep people from relapsing if I can. So that's what we do. That's one of the hats I wear, so to speak, in the community. I'm the vice president of the Black Community Harrisburg Community Black Think Tank. I'm also the Pennsylvania engagement leader for Breadcoin. And so I'm excited that we did get the mayor's support moving forward for the gaming grant. So I'm super
Fantastic.
excited. We don't have the grant yet, but we're in line, in a good place. So, and it's all to really just get that money to give it right back to Harrisburg City, to our vendors, to increase our vendors, and to increase my street outreach ability to give out more bread coins to people on the street, so they can continue to eat and food security with dignity. So that's what we do. What I do.
Well, here's what I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question first, and then I want to go to, I want you to think about it because we're going to take a little break. But the bread coin, I think, is very unique, and I don't know if many people know about that. So, but first, let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about writing? Because I mean, you've been involved, you've been doing some things, and you're a Penn State grad, is that right?
It's funny you mentioned Penn State. I just was chosen. They have put in for a grant, and it's $1 million grant, $1.5 million grant, and I'm one of the co-chairs,
All
and they
right.
got it. What do you know? They got it.
Fantastic. Good to
So
hear.
we start in September, and it's about equity,
All
health
right.
equity research. So I'm super excited, and I'm sort of their community arm, right, with all
Okay.
these hats. And so there'll be different surveys, and people will be paid to do their surveys, like
Very good.
$20. So I can't wait to get excited and get connected, and hopefully make a difference when it comes to health equity in our community, at large. So.
That's
But
another
yes,
big
I
shift.
am a
But let
Penn
me ask you
State
a question,
grad.
because you went to,
I've
you,
written some poems.
okay.
I've done speech contests, but with all that I do, writing to sit and really free write, I haven't quite gotten there time wise to be able to do it. Not yet, but I have written, and I do have some poems in my under my belt. Yes.
All right, we got to hear those poems one of these days, all right? But I got to ask you this real quick, because you went to Penn State back in the day. And
Mm-hmm.
so, there was some, people talk about there was some racial tension on campuses like that, especially up at State College. What did you experience back when you were there? I mean, what did you notice
It's
things
so
back
funny.
then?
I wish my man was on Chris Mitchell. So I'm a Penn State grad and fan, right? So I have I love PSU stuff
I
all
see
over the
that.
place in my office. And
Mm-hmm.
he's all like, I can't say Penn State. And so because he didn't have a good experience as far as when he, like during recruitment times and how they treated him football wise. And
Yeah.
so, but my experience actually was a different one. I went to Penn State main campus pregnant with my third child.
Mm-hmm.
um, we got blessed. We got into housing that was brand new, family housing. So it had never been lived in before. It was a condo, townhouse. And
Yeah.
then everyone in my community were parents that were, going to school some kind of way. And I did have, now that I'm thinking about it, most of my experiences were good, but I did have a run-in with a professor. And ironically, this professor, she was Caucasian, and she had adopted 4 young Black males from Haiti.
Oh, okay.
And so she was raising them. but she really thought she had the corner market on the Black experience because she was raising these 4 boys. And so here I am with my papers, I'm writing my papers, my 20-page papers. And so she would get her big red marker, in which they've outlawed the red marker now in schools because it's so, it stresses kids out. But she would come with her big red marker and circle everything and circle. And so on another professor's exam, I got like the highest grade. So she was like, well, how did you get that highest grade? Did you cheat? So the difference between her and the other professor, I'm a very good auditory learner. So if I hear it and I see it written, it's in there. Like I have a almost audiographic, photographic memory. I got to see it and hear it, and it's in there, and I can repeat it. And so that particular professor was a lecturer. So I was taking copious notes, and I'm listening and taking my copious notes on what he's saying, which is my favorite way to learn. Her way to teach was a lot of reading involved. And can you believe it? I made it all the way to my master's, and I hate to read. And
so many people do. You'd be surprised.
I do. And so her stuff was a lot of reading material. So I didn't do as well on her exam as his. And so she like kind of insinuated, that I cheated. And so I was super offended. I was so upset. I called my mommy. I said, Mom, I'm getting this professor. I can't believe she disrespected me and blah, blah, blah. And so I have to know, at that time, my mom said, well, daughter, you could, fight that battle. She said, but I just think maybe it might be more worth it for you to get done and bring all that knowledge on home and help some people here at home.
Your mom's an educator, right? So she knows what she's talking about. Mom,
yeah, she did that, and she grew up, and I've learned, didn't realize it when we did the Race and Unity Chat and Chew at my church. Wasn't even an employee yet for CCU, but I was hosting the Chat and Chew at my church. And the questions on the table were, when did you have a Black teacher? Right? Those were the questions. And so remember, this includes people from our side of the river, across the river. So all different walks of life. So there was Spanish, there was white, there was gay, there was straight. So everybody, answering these questions. And ironically, my mom of everyone in the group had the most different experience. She had all Black teachers until her senior year, which was integration.
Okay.
So I can't imagine what that would be like. My senior year, I finally make it, and now everything's different. All my teachers are white, none of them are Black. They're not the people I would, everyone I went to school with all this time. So she had a very different experience, where the rest of us in the room, I was like, well, some of my kindergarten and daycare people were Black, and then I don't remember seeing other Black teachers really till, I had some in Ben Franklin and then some in the high school. So I had a lot of different, along the way, sprinkled here and there. Yeah. But most of the majority of the people who were not of color did not have people of color teachers. And so they were looking at us and listening. So it was quite a different experience. But yes, that teacher was my only hardship experience at Penn State. Otherwise, I really had a good experience. Other than that, that was my only racial kind of experience, because I was very smart. They also, I will say this, but you can look at it wrong, but I looked at it as a God thing. Okay. There was only 2 of us that were Black in my entire program. So I was one of them. And that story is a whole God story, how I got there, because I waited to the last minute to put my paperwork in. Called, and a professor answered the phone instead of a secretary. He said, I'm going to be in Harrisburg. I think it was the next day. He said, if you have all your paperwork ready to submit for the master's program, you can bring it to me. And that's when the unemployment office was still in the Uptown Shopping Center. And I live across the street from the Uptown Shopping Center. Yeah. So I worked feverishly all night. My mom was stalking me all night. She wouldn't let them eyes close till everything was done. And then I had to run across that parking lot. And remember, this is another thing about history, that Uptown, I don't know if you know about the study they've done about Uptown, the life expectancy of people that live Uptown versus the Hill is shorter because of the chemicals they use in the parking lot, the asphalt. Wow. And so I remember that day, the vapors coming up off of that parking lot as I was walking out, you could see it. Like the sun would hit that parking lot and you could see the vapors coming up. And then I didn't know about it then until that study, but I remember seeing that. Anyway, I ran across the vapors, gave the professor my my master's paper, applying to get into this program at Penn State. And as only the God we serve. The man turns in my paperwork, and guess what? He ain't even gonna work there no more. He wasn't even a professor when I got there. He went on to like Wisconsin or some other college, but he turned my stuff in. And so there it is. It's me and one other Black female. Everybody else in our program is white. And the program is about working with people with disabilities. That was my degree is Master's of Education in Counselor Education with the rehabilitation emphasis. That is my degree title.
All right.
So I could go on and on, but yes, but I did have a good experience at Penn State. But you're right, the racism is real. It was there. It was awful. I'm upset about the whole Sandusky thing. Of course, I'm upset, but I'm doubly upset for how they responded. So they take wins off the books. They take kids can't get scholarships. How is that the remedy for what an adult did?
Brother up and get him out of here. Hey, I'm gonna have to stop you for a minute, but this is fascinating. I'm glad you came on. By the way, congratulations to your daughter who just got her master's degree down in Millersville, right?
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Yes. Yeah. She's a great lady. So anyhow, let's do this because I want to Brother Chris to pull up some videos for us. Our theme tonight is racial reconciliation. And so I was talking about the trip that we took, last couple weeks ago.
Yes, that amazing trip I was watching. Yes.
I appreciate it. Well, Brother Chris, if you don't mind showing the first video for tonight, I'd appreciate it. And we're going to come back and talk with Brother Neil Owens and Sister Aisha Mobley and get some more information here.
In times like these, Black grief comes with no moment of silence, no time to process. The 5 stages of grief are accelerated when you act as mourner, corner, SIU, funeral home, and tombstone. I asked my father how he felt today, and he said, sick and tired. But he said it like it's just another day, like it's all the same, different time and place, like he's numb to this accelerated cycle of grief. He said, when you've had to repeat yourself again and again, how can they blame us for when our voices raise, when our tones change, after asking the same questions, after all the investigations swept under rugs, floorboards, buried, covered in flowers, dewy with sap that have Canada's not that bad written on its very stems, because Canadians are known for saying sorry, but never meaning it. When you He said, when you've had to repeat yourself again and again, how can they blame us for when our voices raise, when our tones change, after asking the same questions, after all the investigations swept under rugs, floorboards, buried, covered in flowers, dewy with sap that have Canada's not that bad written on its very stems, because Canadians are known for saying sorry, but never meaning it. When you force forgiveness from your victims, what the world and what the Canada no one wants to believe exists has taught us is that peace can look a lot of different ways. To Black people, perhaps it's being able to exist, skin undressed from caution tape, when to others, peace can be delivered at school, in days at home, in riding the bus. Peace can be delivered by simply calling the cops, but not for us. Not here, not now, not ever, actually. No wonder there's protests in a pandemic, when danger rolls off of Black people's backs the same way Black Lives Matter rolls off of tongues when it's convenient, because anti-Black racism has been the pandemic long before the one we're living through. So what do you do to stop the spread? You can start by listening, removing your body from comfort, looking at this country's broken reflection and finding yourself in its mirror shards, taking each limb apart to expose what's been planted in you. There will be no more saying, let's make it better for the next generation, like mine is a write-off. This time, white tears won't wash away the trending topics like they normally do. Because it's your turn to be angry. It's your turn to repeat yourself. It's your turn to scream through all the white noise until you feel your voices raise, your tones change, until you learn what it feels like to be sick and tired. So say something and let Black people have a moment, because you had more than enough of those.
That's powerful. Powerful. Brother Neil, you live in High Point, North Carolina, right? North Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm sure there's a lot of history around High Point and stuff that we don't know about. Tell us what you've gone through in terms of your life. Have you grown up in that area?
No, I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C.
That's right. You remember you said that's right.
Yeah,
So talk
born and
about
raised.
your experiences, man, and things you had to overcome in your life.
You talking about race?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been affected us all in different ways, and I'm sure it's been affected you, somewhere along the line. And and the theme is reconciliation, though, because it's one thing to say, this has happened, but how do we make these bridges work and, take that history and be able to talk about it, but also grow from it rather than shrink into it? What do you think?
Well, it's it's a thing in which education plays a major role. Education plays a major role, and then just having that spirit in you also plays a major role.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be on radio a lot with my job, and I was younger in my 20s, and I was invited a lot to be on the radio, and I always talked about the fact of that spirit, man, the spirit, because the spirit brings back. I mean, I was born in 1958, so I was at the tail end of everything that was going on. But I remember vividly the assassination of Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I was in school. I was in the 4th grade, and the street gangs took over the school, and they told us, they went into the classroom and told us to go home.
Yeah.
They told everybody, they went into school, man, told everybody to go home. And that's what we did. We went home, and all kinds of chaos took place from that point on. But just remembering that and that experience and seeing that, what we had to go through, the soul brother, you had to put the soul brother on your car, man, so don't get burned up.
Mm-hmm.
At an instant, we had no direction, but we was attacking each other. I'm saying, oh my God, it's nothing but Black people in our neighborhood. We got to put soul brother on our car. It's nothing but Black people here. And we got to put soul brother on our car. So that we wasn't on the other side, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it just went to that. And I think right now is a case of, for me, it was just education, man. It was just a spirit, also a spirit, man, enlightened me. It made me aware of it. Because I didn't have to, it was in a situation where I could just listen to people talking, and I knew it was just the truth. I mean, I didn't have to look it up. I just knew it was the truth. That's just the spirit. I just knew it was the truth. I had uncles who I had an uncle who was in the Black Panthers. I had an uncle who always listened to Farrakhan. I used to listen to Farrakhan because he was listening to Farrakhan. So I was listening to Farrakhan. And then he had the book Elijah Muhammad and all of that. So I was listening. I was reading, and I just had a conscious thinking, man. And I was always focusing on trying to better myself as Black and realizing that we were created, we was put to be as inferior when we weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot in school. I learned so much in school, and I have to commend some of these white instructors in school too, because I was in elementary school and I was at a white teacher, and she told me that John Wayne. I remember, John Wayne was a popular for all our kids, watching movie on TV. John Wayne, She said John Wayne wouldn't touch a Black person with a 10-foot pole.
Mm-hmm.
She told us kids. I'm in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a white teacher.
Yeah.
And she told the class that, not just me, she told the class. She said that to the class. So she enlightened us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she had to come out and say that, but she was letting us know, don't be tripping on these people.
Yeah.
John Wayne, how big a star John Wayne was, And so, but see, this is the kind of thing, man. And, but it's said to you, but does it resonate?
Mm-hmm.
Does it hit in you?
Yeah.
It's like you see all these white Jesus and all these things, and I was a kid going to church. I was never really into church, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. I was just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But this one preacher said one day, he said, Moses, he was talking about, he said Moses had what he had. He was a Black man. That stuck with me forever. That's the only thing I can remember as a kid in church, but it stuck with me.
Yeah.
It hit me and it stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it meant something. And it was like, wow, and that helped shape. So all this kind of stuff helped shape me, because people saying things and observing it, acknowledging it, and feeling it and saying, wow,
That's right. That's
and
right.
that's what it's so much in education, just listening,
Amen.
just
That's so
listening.
true. That's so true. And I could relate to what Aisha was saying about being an auditory and visual learner. That's me up and down, It just has always been. And I wasn't the greatest reader at first either. And then I had to really, focus in on that and realize how important it was. But, we do it the way we do it. I see something there that says, let me see what it says. It says 2 other guests have joined us. Okay. Well, I hope their brothers and sisters want to join the fray.
Want to
Can
introduce
you
themselves?
reveal yourself? I'm not sure who it is, but it's good to know that people want to join us. Brother
I
Chris
sent the link out for us.
Oh, okay. Very good. We had a problem. One of the issues, Aisha, is that we had some people come on and hijack the show a couple times. They came on like they were, friends or whatever, and next thing you know, they put pornography up and they took over. And Brother Chris had to
No, I
talk.
sent it to 2 specific people.
No, that's good. No, that's
Oh,
good.
perfect. It's perfect.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but we had 2 incidents of that so far.
It's
Pat and I were
horrible.
yeah, 2 incidents where that happened, but it didn't stop us. But we know who it is. People that want to stop the flow of the conversation. It's all good. But anyhow, no. But Brother Neil, that was interesting what you were saying. I appreciate that. And by the way, again, for those persons just tuning in, my name is Nathaniel Gadsden, and this is the Writers Wordshop. This is Brother Neil Owens. You saw Aisha Mobley was with us tonight, and I'm glad she sent the word out, and hopefully we have some more people come on and join the conversation. Brother Neil has upcoming book signing next Saturday down at the National Harbor, I think it's called, in Washington, D.C. And again, he informed us that this will be the 100th anniversary of James Baldwin. I didn't realize that. That's going to be quite an event, man. And he's called it the Black Book Fest, right?
Yes, the Black Books Matter Festival.
Black Books Matter.
Black Books Matter Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And
they
that
do.
I know that'd be a fantastic bookstore.
Oh yeah, Mahogany. Mahogany is the that's the #1 Black store in DC, and it's also one of the top in the country.
Okay, that's what.
Oh yeah, Mahogany Books. So yeah, it's a pretty
That's a good picture of you, man. It's a pretty. You looking handsome, there, brother. That's a nice picture, man.
yeah.
Brother Neil, all right, good stuff, man. Hey, congratulations on that book, man. That's great stuff. And this is what, about your fourth, fifth book?
Yeah, this is the 4th book, but it's the 3rd one being released. The Storyteller I has done, but I'm just going to hold that back because this one relates to what's going on in the world today and what's happening now.
Mhm.
And it pretty much can address, it's a fictional book, but it really deals with some of the things that's risen and how people like Trump rose, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
where he came from. This is a serious stuff, man. It's not like, I mean,
yeah,
it's a fictional story, but it's very, very serious about what's happening and how things happen and where we are.
absolutely. Well, one
And
thing I'm sorry, but
no, just that video that we saw, the young lady, the spoken word.
mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make a couple of comments on what she said with the connect that caught me. And one of the
Yeah.
things she said about Black Lives Matter roll off of tongues when it's convenient.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You heard that too, huh?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, that I mean she laid it out, man, and that's true when it's
Mm-hmm.
convenient. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so this is what we're dealing with. You're talking about things of that sort. And the black girl from Canada, she's from Canada, she dressed it. And I like to talk, she said, Canadians say I'm sorry, but never mean it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's letting you know what Canada is, and you would think, oh, Canada is a good place, and all that. She said,
Yeah.
this is the Can. There's a lot to Canada, man. She's
My
like
wife and I were
enlightening
fortunate
us
enough to go
about
to
Canada.
Canada.
Huh?
We went to Canada maybe 5, 6, 7
Yeah,
years
I've been
ago,
to
something like
Canada.
that.
I've been there.
Yeah, and they have some serious issues up in Canada with race. I mean, they made it sound like we got out of America, we ran to Canada, and everything was good. No, there was
Right,
some
right,
serious stuff there.
right.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
so okay. Mhm. Yeah, they actually have a museum up there, brother, African American Museum, African Canadian Museum. I always would say African American, but a museum that really is worth seeing. And we, specifically wanted to go to. We heard about this museum in the city, but by the time we got there, they burned the bad boy down. But the community got together and rebuilt that bad boy. But they had it like 50 miles outside of the city. I mean, when we said to the guy we wanted to go, he had never heard of it. He's like, "What?" We said, "It's where?" He said, "Oh, no, I think it's 50 miles." And when we looked at the time, we said, "No, we're going to do this." And so we took a cab. We paid this guy to drive because we were determined. That's what we do. So we were determined to get there, and it was not even open. And it just so happened one of the people who worked there happened to be, going in or coming out, wanted to. And she said, "Oh, they're not open today." And we said, "Well, we're from the United States, and we're from Harrisburg." She said, "You know what?" She opened that bad boy up and gave us a tour, man. She said, "I know you definitely want to see this to do all that." And so, yeah, man, we had to go 100 miles round trip, 50 up, 50
hmm
back,
hmm
and pay this dude, but it was worth it because if we don't support those things, and she said, think about it, they burnt this thing down. The people want to rebuild it, but they were clear about it. You rebuild it, but you better not rebuild it here. So
Right.
it's just great. You don't hear about that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Gee.
yeah.
So that's the other thing that I'll say that, man, one of the things about this tour is we heard stuff we'd never heard before, salts, the things we never knew it existed. If we don't tell the story, if we as writers and storytellers and whatever, poets, it doesn't matter which your venue is or medium is, we got to tell the story because no one else is telling about us, right?
Right. Gotta
Ava
tell the
DuVernay,
story, man.
if you have not seen the movie Origins, by the way, you can see that on Hulu, I was told right now. And then I think I read something somewhere that said they're going to have it on Netflix in September. Origins is a must-see movie. I mean, I kept hearing about it. My wife and I wanted to see it, but and I haven't heard much buzz about it. It's kind of a small movie, but it's not small. It's a major movie. And Ava DuVernay did a tremendous job. She took a book called Cass. I never heard of the book. Cass.
We lost Nate.
How we lose Nate?
Yeah, we lost Nate. I think so. He'll pop back in bit. You gotta.
That movie. You
Oh,
realize
here you
now
go.
why she's talking about.
Nate, we lost you for a few, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, you lost me?
yeah. You froze for a
Oh,
bit. Yeah,
oh wow, okay.
yeah.
Well, you
You
know what
froze for
though,
several
my
seconds.
internet can be. Yeah, we're pretty lucky up here because it was really messed up, and they finally just invested in doing some work on the outside of the building here, And then they said, you know, they're gonna be doing some other things, but yeah, we have a terrible internet connection. But generally, I do pretty well, at least this time of, you know, day, from 7 to 9. But I did not froze like that. Okay. And now, Aisha, I didn't know you're still with us. I'm glad you are. I see you took yourself off. I know you're working, so
Just
I get
working in
it.
the
But
background, but I'll pop on if ever you need me.
all right,
Hey,
all right. Yeah,
Aisha,
feel like
can you can the two individuals that you invited, can they introduce themselves?
Oh yes, I know Baya is more than I can see him. I'm not quite sure on the phone who that
oh,
is.
Brother
If that's
Bayard's on
somebody.
there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep,
We had him
Baya,
on.
and he wrote a book. So go, Baya. You feel like speaking? If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself.
He was on one night. That brother's bad. I'm glad you got him
Yes,
on
my
here.
apologies. My phone is about to die. That's why
Oh man.
I wasn't using the camera. Uh Trying to
Okay, okay,
preserve the
that's
It's
cool.
all
power
right. You don't need
as
to
much
use
as
the
possible.
camera, but
Yeah, you
definitely
don't need
tell
the
us.
camera. Yeah. We have another brother comes on
I'm
all the
here
time.
though. I'm here.
Okay. Hey man,
Tell us
listen,
about your book.
go ahead, Neil.
You can tell us about your book, brother.
He was on before, Neil. You may not remember him, but Bea was on, what did you think about maybe 2 months ago? Bea? Did you go?
Oh, okay.
I was
That
gonna
is
say I can show you the book too.
Okay.
okay.
I'ma just be able to talk best I can. And I'ma,
What's that?
not have no the love of
the love of
life.
life, the love of
The love
life.
of life. I self-published it in 2019 while I was incarcerated. I served
Okay.
25 years consecutively in 6 different penitentiaries. I faced the death penalty when I was 17. And for me, my book is a tangible representation of my character, who I am. It wasn't for me to write a book and speak in regards to who I am and have people understand my passion, my joy for life. I had my support members to write letters. Well, they wrote letters to me during my incarceration. They're a part of my book. And in those letters, you can hear and feel how I impacted their lives in a positive way. So it's not just me in the book speaking about who I am and what I'm about. Is them speaking in regards to who I am and what I'm about. So that's my book.
Fantastic, man. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just
yeah.
one. These people stole my book. Uh, Midnight Express Books. I published it by third party, and that party took my book. And I was supposed to get 100% of my royalties, but I got none. I've never
Mm.
seen a penny. So I have to
That's
buy my books to sell my books.
well, listen,
Um,
brother. I'm glad you lifted that up because that's one of the pitfalls of writers, especially indie writers. There's so much that goes on out there that we got to be careful of. Let me also say hello to Lazille Powder. Lazille, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you
All
doing?
right. Fresh from the powder room. It's a Lazille Powder. I like it. I've been following you as you do your walks through, as the brother Bear's doing right now. I said, all right, I'm getting more used to it and everything. Dropping knowledge on us. That's good stuff. Hey, Bear, you did a poem for us the last time you were on, man. Can do you have that thing memorized or do you need to read that?
yeah. I don't have my book with me right now, and
Okay,
it's been
okay.
so
I got you.
long.
'Cause I'm
But
like
I'm
that
going to
too.
get it. I'm going to get it right because I definitely have to incorporate, and I should have been done so, especially while I was incarcerated.
Right.
So I'm going to get that together. So no matter what, even though I'm not able to say it off top, I have a tablet now that I can have it on there,
Okay. All right.
and I could just read it from there,
Very
and
good.
or just
Very good.
remember it. But for
Okay,
sure,
I
I'm gonna have
appreciate
that
it too,
on deck.
man.
But we have a lot, going on. Uh, I can't wait to be at the meeting Sunday.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Let me do this. Aisha, you're still with us, right?
Pardon me, say it again. Car
Yes,
road
I'm
past.
still here.
Aisha, I'm just saying hello to Aisha, making sure she was still with us. Okay, because I know she's working too. But Lazille, good to see you. I'm glad that you're on tonight, and I hope that you have something to read for us. Okay, so you're muted right
Yes,
now, and
yes.
if you okay, all right, real good. Lazille, for those people who don't know, is from Trinidad, And how long you been in this in the States here, Lizelle?
10 years.
About 10 years now? Okay. So you grew up in Trinidad and all that good stuff, and you've introduced us to the Trinidadian culture through your readings and everything. Do you have anything to lift up tonight for us?
Yeah, I have poems to read.
Okay, why don't you do that poem now? Because we haven't read anything yet, and I'm gonna invite anybody that has that wants to read if they can read tonight. But if you could read a piece for us, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, let me just get it. This one is called I Will Try. I will try to be the better version of myself. Although my mind is not there, it's hard to think. It's hard to try. I will try to see the best in everything. But when I try, my spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. I will try to say the positive affirmations that I can climb the mountains, but sometimes I'm stuck in the valley as the valley calls my name. I will try to conquer my fear, but what I'm used to holds me captive. There's no key to unlock me. I will try to win and run the race, but when I fall down, I stayed there. I will try to represent myself, but my failures keep showing up. I run and hide in my shell, my sins followed me. I'm broken pieces that is scattered through my soul. My scars implanted in my skin. I'm not sure if I can make it, but I will try.
Appreciate that. That's a good piece. That's in keeping with your themes when you're doing your blurbs as you're walking too. You know, giving something positive, uplifting. It's real good. I see what Brady was trying to get on again tonight. And she said, I've tried to get on, but no luck. Now we're gonna have to figure out how to get Ro back on here. You know, absolutely. And also I see other people too, Wendy and some others. Let me see what's happening here. I don't know. Is there something that's blocking them? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, listen. Thank you for reading that. Hope you have another piece for us a little bit later. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. What's going on up in your neck of the woods? Anything? Oh, by the way, tonight's theme is racial reconciliation, and we've only had one piece. I'm gonna be ready to show another piece now that Brother Chris has brought up for us, and I appreciate Let me say this also real quick. If you don't know now, you know that there's a pre-Jazz Fest mixer at Pop's House and Larrymore Entertainment. It's called Pop's House and Larrymore Entertainment. Friday, September the 6th. The time is from 8 p.m. until 12 a.m. It is the phenomenal R&B singer and band Showtime Brooks, a soul train cruise sensation. And also there's a dinner show, dance, and more. Herbie Hall is the host, and DJ is the host. And also DJ Godfather is the person who supplies all the music and entertainment there. It's going to be at the Scottish Rite Ballroom, Scottish Rite Cathedral Ballroom, 2701 North 3rd Street in Harrisburg. And the tickets are like $50 individual, and you can reserve a table for 8 people at $400. Love to promote this brother because Larry Moore has done so much for so many in this community. And anytime he puts on an event, it's always first class. So if you want to check out something real nice, go to something that's going to lift up your spirits. Check out the pre-Jazz Fest mixer, and it's going to be on Friday, September the 6th at the Scottish Rite Ballroom, Herbie Hall, and also DJ Godfather. They're going to be jamming for sure. And you're going to have a spectacular show as well. Brother Larry Moore and his wife, they do a great job of going out and finding venues all over the country, really, and then bringing those acts back to Harrisburg. So hats off to them. I see we're down to 8:22 already. Boy, time flies. I'm going to ask Brother Chris, can you show us the second video? And we'll get back to all of our guests that are on today as well.
I have a confession to make. The more socially conscious that I became, the more that every time I came across a white person, I thought that they looked down on me or that they had something against me. But thankfully, deep down inside, I knew that was ridiculous. So I actually prayed for a message for myself that would help alleviate my ignorant anger. And the poem is entitled, Grateful. This message is for all of the whites who've always had that desire to love and unite. You were the ones who had our backs and didn't prejudge us because we are black. That makes you more than just an exception to all of the hatred and the rejection. You were a trusted ally when we needed help to get by. You were against all of the suffering that we went through. And as we wept that night, you cried too. That's why we are so grateful of you not being hateful. In a time where discrimination is still tried and true, we have to give honor to whom credit is due. Today, when I needed a job to pay my bills, you didn't focus on my color, but you respected my skills. And yesterday when we marched, I know you took pride. We protested for civil rights, and you were right by our side. And the day before, when the slaves hid underground, my family took shelter in your home, but you pretended they weren't around. And we are so grateful of you not being hateful, especially during a time when loving us was a crime. You risked your own kindred's respect and trust, all in the name of helping us. You celebrated emancipation. You were dancing and drinking instead of questioning, what was Lincoln thinking? And it's amazing, through all of that pain and insanity, how you managed to keep your love and humanity. You let your children play with us. You came to church to pray with us. And it's nice to see you more than once in a while, still welcoming us with your warm smile. And even though we still have room to grow, we appreciate you. And we want you to know that we still need you. Because uniting humanity is what we can do. I see you, my friend, making it easier as our struggle comes closer to an end. But the truth is, there are still some inequalities out there. But we know better than to think that you do not care. That's why we are so grateful for you not being hateful. Thank you.
I like that piece. Really good. Very good. Really touches on the thing. One of the things that I noticed, of all the documentaries we saw over the 6 days that we were involved in the Striving Together program, as we went down south from the 14th to the 20th, is that there were a lot of people who lost their lives who were white. They killed anybody that, they could kill. And a lot of the people that they decided to kill were people who were, as they say, allies. The white minister and others that were on the bus that they burned. I mean, they beat that man so bad that he died within, 24 hours. And on down the line, the lady that was hit in Charlottesville, there was a white female that they ran over, just ran right through the crowd with the car, not that many years ago, and killed her, And then you have a guy who's the president talking about the good people on both sides. Like, wow, couldn't even condemn the hate, But that piece of that sister just did. I like that. But how about the other folks? Listen, anybody else have any comments on that piece?
Yes, that piece was very profound, and I appreciate that. And I salute all our kings and queens here in that light and respect. I want to share a piece from my book, The Love of Life.
Excellent. This is Brother Bea. And that's his book up on the screen called The Love of Life, Emmanuel Bayard Thomas. Okay, go ahead, brother.
What's good, youngin? Dig this. Your name ringing bells up here like crazy. I hear you holding it down out there. They say you dancing on a hot plate with gunpowder shoes on. I say that you're doing you to the max. I know that it's been a few years since we were in each other's presence, but trust that no love is lost, fam. I'm waiting for you to come through as I write this letter. It's gangster up here. It's real in the paint every day. Since you're out there playing your position like you've been, I know you're all coming through. So I'm holding this bunk for you. You're gonna be my celly. Dudes up here with their pops doing life in the box. I see cats right before my eyes lose their lives. I mean, you're gonna die in here. I got time bar, so I'm all in. I'm gelling hard. Nobody holding me down. My baby mama out there messing with the boy that told on me. I haven't seen my son since the day I got locked up. He was 2 months old. Now she got that lame that told on me, calling my son daddy. My son don't even know me. It's good because I know when you get here, you're going to bring new life to the whole situation up here. We're going to ride as soon as you get off the bus. And when you do, I want you to know all kinds of dudes up here living lives contrary to the one that they lived on the streets. So many dudes done told, violate the codes and principles, but they good up here. Your sister used to mess with the dude from around the way. She was loving him and he was loving him. And now she lost her life bringing him drugs into jail. Somebody died and she got a life sentence. But it's cool. When you get up here, we gonna get that money though. I be gambling, playing cards, and balling all day, every day. That's how I got time barred. Oh yeah, I stay high. So we got everything up here. Your downfall is right around the corner. So stay asleep. Continue to walk with your head up your ass. And when you get here, you'll be that dude. You'll be cool. You have everything. We gonna get high. We gonna play ball. And it's gonna be fun all day. We gonna get money. We gonna do whatever you want to do. But when you get here, after your 2 years of out there living your life, getting it, having fun and all that, I want you to tell me that it was worse the rest of your life. I'm waiting for you, youngin. I'm waiting for you to feel my pain. I'm waiting for you to be a father other than the baby's dad. I'm waiting for you to become a man. I'm waiting for you. I love you, youngin. Always. Your old head from around the way. Gangster. And that's part one. Part two is a moment of reflection in regards to me never being gangster, but I created gangster to get a youngins understanding of what they doing to themselves, that they killing themselves, and they thinking they saving their lives and defending their family and loved ones, but you throwing your life away, youngin.
That part kind of goes to what Neil talked about earlier, how we have so many black males in particular, man, but just uninformed, but they think they're smart. They think they know. They think and it's sad really to see us in that position, especially all that we've gone through too. Do you want to speak to that again, Neil?
Well, brother, let me first say that should be you should do an audio book.
Yes, I'm doing all that. To be honest, bro, this book right here was stolen from me while I was incarcerated.
Yeah,
So everything that I'm about to do now is doing it under the Love of Life LLC. I just had solidified that, and I'm in the process of getting my nonprofit, off the ground. So everything that was done to me in regards to larceny, I pushed through, and I persevered through everything. And I'm at a point right now where is about to come into fruition. So
Right.
I just thank y'all to be in this moment with me. This is the launching pad here. So I
Good
thank y'all
stuff,
for
man.
being a part of this.
Good stuff, good stuff. One thing also, your piece that you did with us on Channel 21, I'm gonna be putting that up on Facebook so more people can see it. Had a couple of issues there that made that not happen, but it's gonna happen real soon. So just want to give you a
Yeah,
heads up on that. You did an excellent
yeah,
interview. Excellent
yeah,
interview. Yeah,
for sure.
so, all right. Let's do this, brother. Let me jump around. Let me see. I don't know we have a whole lot of time left here, but let me see. Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, Lizelle, can you do another piece? And then I'm gonna ask Aisha if she doesn't mind just taking a couple minutes and explain the Bitcoin piece, because I hope more people learn about that and use that mechanism. And then want to get back with brother Neil Owens, because he's launching his book next Saturday. And I'm going to encourage everybody to go out there and support this brother, you know. So, okay. But Lizelle, if you can do a piece for us.
All right. Yes. Okay, this one is called The Chains Never Let Us Go.
Okay.
Just want to bring it up a little bigger.
Trying to
The
pull it up.
chains never let us, huh? The chains
Go
never
ahead.
let us go.
Mhm.
Every time we push forward, it feels like the chains are holding us back. It's latched on like a parasite. Our place is disturbed by whispering lips and tongues that slither like snake. It's our own kind that hung us out to dry. They stole our willpower to survive. They eat our words for their dinner. They stole our thoughts and call it theirs. We see the chains as it pulls and tugs dreams from the minds, as it chokes the neck, suffocating life. They try to grab the visions that they see, hoping it will reach their hands, but it fell just like they fell into the sea. Oh, I was to explain, you went on some site, Brother Gaskin, and there was some slaves with chains around their necks, so I kind of incorporate that in this poem.
Okay. Mhm.
They try to grab the visions that they see, hoping it will reach their hands, but it fell just like they fell into the sea, sucked away by the currents of misery. They never let us go, as we became slaves ourselves, as the color of our skin is written on paper to the judge, because that's how they see us. No birth, no chance, no new birth, no chance to suckle, pain from a mother's cry. She's dreaming too, if she can't hold on, trying to grab onto a song, but the chains will pull her back, as the new bird doesn't understand. That's it.
Okay. Good piece, always. Good piece. I like the imagery of the chains and well, the whole thing. You just have a vivid way of writing, and I always can see your work in my mind. You know, you paint a picture, and that's really good. Thank you so much. Yeah, Sister Aisha, I see. Are you? You look like you're driving there. You just in your car. Oh, you're muted right now. You're muted. Yeah.
Yes, I'm headed to the house. Finally
Okay.
out of the office.
Well, I
But
don't want to
I
distract you, though.
can
I don't
talk.
want to.
I can, as long as they can hear me, and I can share a little bit about Breadcoin. I can definitely tell you that I'm also featured in the Black Wall Street, Pennsylvania. I'm one of the
Yeah,
4 women of distinction, and they do a article, so you can refer there about Breadcoin, just in case they want something to read.
yeah,
But we have a
Okay.
website. Our website is www.breadcoin.org. And so what we focus on is food security with dignity. In my work in the past with Christian Churches United, I was I did street outreach to the unhoused. And
Mhm.
so my job there was to connect with churches and individuals and organizations that maybe wanted to cook and prepare a meal, right, for our unhoused,
Yeah.
which is great. But we choose when we do a meal like that. The people who are serving are the ones doing the choosing. And it is, dignified because we're proud and happy to give and share. The difference though with bread coin is I'm able to put actual coins in people's hands, whether they're unhoused or housed. We know many people that are housed that are working even that still are food insecure. So I'm able to put coins in their hands and they can go to any one of our vendors. We have about 12 now in the Harrisburg City area that they can go to of their choice.
Okay.
And so I've recruited
You say
a
vendors,
lot
though,
of,
excuse me. When you say vendors, they're like restaurants and stores, right?
right. So vendors are food, is hot food. So
Okay.
so we also partner with human service organizations, right? Small ones that have under like 100 staff, small 501c3s, and they are able to complete a distribution partner application. And then I actually put in circulation $2,000 worth of bread coins a month for free. So people like, or I should say organizations like Tears for Tarina, Safe House, women who are escaping domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. So she gets 50 coins a month. That is $125 worth of food that she can give to her clients to eat at any one of our vendors. Shalom House, shelter for women and children, they get 50. Thrive Housing, D. Allen, she gets 50. OIC, they do a match with us. They purchase 100, I match them 100. That's $500 worth of food a month for their 6 different programs of students. Just to know, Christian Churches United gets 100 coins a month. So just to name a few, Justice House of Hope, she gets coins. So they get coins for free, and then they can give them to their clients. I also do street outreach for bread coins. So I go personally to the PennDOT where the encampment is and to the library downtown where a lot of the unhoused are. But it's not a coin just for unhoused. I don't want to make it like it's that, but it's for anyone food insecure. And my passion is the unhoused. So I love that I'm able to feed them. Now the vendor, the business owner, the food restaurant, by being a bread coin vendor, they're able then to get microloans for their business from our company, from Breadcoin. So Taco Amigos, one of my first recruited brick and mortar food vendors, he has gotten 2 loans from us. And he's been able to change, the inside of his store remodel. And then when his freezer broke, he was able to get money from us. Palumbo's Italian eatery, they had a freezer breakdown. We were literally able to give them $10,000 within 48 hours of their need. So that is what and then they pay the loan back through their bread coin redemptions. Hamilton Health purchases coins. They use us as their incentive for HIV and hepatitis C testing. So we really are making an impact in our community. And again, most of our vendors, they don't have to be, but I started, of course, because I'm Black and brown. So of course I started with my Black and brown vendors, people who I knew me, people who had some type of affiliation with me in the community. So I use all my contacts and connections. And so we just expanded. We done added Solada empanadas now. We have just added Anhaker's fish fry. We're partnered with that group that really wants Restaurant Row in Allison Hill to expand. So we're part of that recruitment process. And like I said earlier, we were excited about getting Mayor Wanda Williams' endorsement towards the gaming grant. And the whole purpose of that grant, we're going to just put it right back into our community. We're going to be able to recruit more vendors, more food vendors, and then give out more for street outreach. So that's the goal of our gaming grant, is to just put it right back into our very community and keep expanding and feeding our community. Right now, we are part of the camp Empower and Evolve camp with the Bridge. So there are about roughly 38 students. 38 campers. They are students, but they are age 14 to
Well, let me stop you there, though.
They are 10. They are 10, ages about 10 to 17. But I think most of it stopped about.
Hold on, let
Okay.
me stop you there, okay? Because we're gonna run out of
Mhm.
time in a bit, and I want you to
Oh,
come back on another time. We're gonna talk more about that, because that's a fantastic program, and I want to get more people to buy into it. And sound like it's really taking off anyhow. But thank you for all that, and what
and
we'll do
thank you
is
for
talk
this
more
moment.
about that. Say that again?
I said thank you for letting me talk. Thank you. I
Oh, yeah,
appreciate you.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, anytime, I'll definitely get you back on, because you got the information, and you're doing some great stuff. Brother Neil, I did want to bring you back into it though, man, because you started off and you've been really loyal to the program, you and Lazille, and all the others, and there's some other folks we haven't heard from Wendy in a while. I know she has a new job now, and she's out there doing her thing, and I think they were trying to get on tonight. So there must be something going on where people are not able to hook up, but that's okay, we'll
Yeah.
figure it, we'll figure it.
How's Rose?
Rose is doing fine. She was trying to get on tonight. She said she still can't get on. She battled, she said last week to get on, and she finally got on around 10:30 with the other group. She said she just kept working at it, but she don't know what's kicking it. She don't know what the deal is. So she's gonna look into that. But she just texted me. She texted me to say that, she's having trouble getting on, can't get on. And that was around 8:01. So, but I talked to her at length yesterday. Let me see, here's the message here. Let's see. This is Brother Chris saying, I sent okay, I sent the links to both. Okay, I didn't quite see the whole thing, but anyhow, he said he sent the links to some other folks. So
Both of them. He sent
yeah, both of
Wendy
them.
and
Yeah,
Ro the link.
okay. So let's do this. Really glad to see Brother Bear come on, and like what you said about him doing audiobooks, because the way he reads it and everything, it's just
Yeah,
it
yeah.
brings it
It's
right
very
in.
powerful,
Very
and
powerful.
it definitely connect with the youth, man, and it will hold their attention.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, a lot of them won't sit down and read a book. It's
yeah,
good for adults, they will read it. But for them
And
mhm,
that's
youth,
why it's a program that I'm running,
yeah,
that's
mhm,
going to be everything what y'all saying in regards to
yeah,
them
yeah.
actually being in front of
Yeah, but
yeah,
we
the
actually had the
spread
brother
yeah,
on.
and,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's
going
good
through
stuff,
it,
man.
having a whole curriculum built
Okay,
for them to succeed mentally. They have to be
all
able
right.
to understand, what they're doing, cognitive
I don't want to cut you off, brother, but I
recognition.
do want to get. I don't want to cut you off, bad, but I do need to get Neil in, because he was gonna. I was challenging him to read a little piece tonight, just to entice folks, because try to give you some time earlier. But
Yes.
if you could just stay tuned, because we'll get right back to you, brother. But if you could give us a little piece, Neil, I just want people to hear a little piece of your last book, The Rise
what
and
I'll
Fall of
do
the
is
Fourth.
I'll just read the synopsis, but this
Okay.
is the book, The Rise and Fall of the Fourth Reich.
Chris had pulled up that once before. I don't know if you can pull that up again, just to show because it's a beautiful cover there,
Yeah, he
man.
sent the
But
cover, yeah.
yeah, but if you could do that, you're gonna do the forward for us, or the synopsis?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna do the synopsis real quick on it.
Mhm. Okay.
At the end of World War II, Nazi war criminals given refuge by the CIA because of their expertise on Soviet Union affairs infiltrated the American political system to raise the Fourth Reich in America. These former members of the SS intelligence and Gestapo, recruited as spies and consultants, aligned with the ultranationalism ideology in the far right wing of the American Eagle, and joined the America First Coalition, a group of wealthy and powerful fascists who only allowed American citizens of German descent as members. This gripping political thriller from multi-award-winning author Neil Owens brings fiction to life with an imagination that feels real. What happens in this book, the Black Americans lead the citizens' resistance against the Fourth Reich. The Fourth Reich rise in America, and Black people lead the citizens' resistance
Mhm.
against the Fourth Reich. And it's a lot of ways that they show how they communicate, because the lines of communication is cut and all this, but they're still able to communicate. It's a lot of codes that Blacks are using. It's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on that Black people are like, they are the leaders in it come down to civil service in this country.
Mhm.
So they're communicating through being a poker. They want the postal office to still work in certain things, but they show how the Black are organized so much that they're able to organize other people and lead the fight against the right.
Good stuff, man. I'll tell you, folks, again, Brother Neil, he has another book, by the way, called The Storyteller that he won't release on us, man. And that bad boy's
Yeah,
that's some good
Storyteller is really
stuff.
good, but because I had to release this because everything that's going on
Oh, absolutely,
with
absolutely.
this political system with Trump and all of them. Because see, that's why these things are not new, and Trump is up here speaking these things, and it's not new.
No.
Okay, the America for the whole thing. This group, I mean, some of this stuff, like I say, is fiction, but it feels real because a lot of it is real.
Yeah, it is real. I mean, that's the key. It's real.
Yeah.
That's the key to that. Yeah.
And so,
But
yeah,
anyhow, now it's the National Harbor, right? National Harbor, Washington, D.C. Next Saturday, this coming Saturday, August the 3rd, from 11 a.m. until about what, 2 p.m.?
2 p.m. Yeah.
2 p.m. We get, get a chance and listen. It's going to be a whole big thing happening. Black Books Matter is part of the theme. It's 100th anniversary of James Baldwin's birth. So there's a whole bunch going on. It's a beautiful setting, and it's called what, Mahogany Bookstore?
Mahogany Bookstore.
Go ahead, man. This is gonna be good stuff. So I'll try my best to get to Neil. I'm telling you, talking to my wife, as soon as we get off, I hope that everybody that's in the hearing of this program tonight will consider going down. You'll get a chance to meet Brother Neil, some other what they call indie authors, independent authors, but also to support that fantastic bookstore as well. Now we also have with us, Brother. Neil, I'd like you to do another poem for us near the end. I'm going to go back to Brother Bear real quick and see if he can, he was getting ready to explain a little bit about his curriculum and everything. He has a whole book out, but it's more than just a book. It's a movement. Brother Bear, you still with us? Okay, he may have had to get off, but he's doing some great work along with a lot of organizations here with Aisha Mobley and others. I'm going to thank both of them for coming on tonight. Sister Gazelle, I'm going to turn to you right now, and then I'm going to ask Brother Chris if he would crank up that another video for us, because I know you put up at least 4, and I think we've seen at least 2 at this point. So Gazelle, if you have a piece ready. You're muted though. Okay.
We'll do Lizelle first, Dr. Gadsden. My apologies.
Yeah, Lizelle, you ready?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, she's ready. Okay, so we'll do her and then we'll come back to Brother Chris as soon as Lizelle's done.
All right, this called The Bag Contained His Life. He stepped into the bus and searched the bag with nervous hands as his fingers tried to pick his life. Secured savings, maybe from a piggy bank that he might have begged his kids to release. The bag just dangled with treasures that is now his. He slowly placed the coins in the slot as if to turn on the jukebox for that last dance. He clutched the bag with all his might, not wanting to lose their treasure. That's now his, or is it? He still has to use it and put it somewhere to save his life. He's not ashamed of his treasure. It represents his secret that he took. As he slowly sits, his hand clutching the bag, he stares into the distance, maybe remembering his dance, his fixed attention unmovable. As he wished he was in the bag with his treasures, that maybe he felt sorry for breaking the piggy bank, but it saved his life.
Wow, what was the genesis of that? How did you come up with that piece?
This guy stepped into the bus and he had a bag, like a Ziploc bag with a whole lot of pennies and quarters. So when I saw the bag, the poetry started to flow. I said, wow, that's his life. It come like his savings, So he's clutching it and he has to pay because it come like it's saving him, because he has to pay to go everywhere to throw the money in the slot. So I look at it as you put in the slot into the jukebox to get a dance. So you turn it into many things with coins. or maybe
Yeah,
a slot machine, you know. So,
yeah.
but the way how he held on to the bag, clutching it, you know, I
Mhm.
was like he's holding it on for dear life, you know. If he lose that, then he lost his life. He can't go nowhere, so he's lost.
Yeah, that's another side of writing. You are very good at you observe and you write about the things that you see, and you do that quite well. And so
Yeah,
I figured that was something that you had actually experienced. So
yeah.
great stuff. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate that. Always good. I'm going to ask Brother Chris if you don't mind showing us the next video. Our theme tonight was racial reconciliation, and the last piece she showed I thought was exceptional. I thought she really did a great job of the rhyming scheme and the imagery. Yeah.
I'm 21, which is like old. That's over 2 decades. And I have a problem with that. I can't be 21 because I'm entirely too young. Like, I feel like there's a checklist of things you have to do before 21. And based off that list, I'm probably more like 17, maybe 16, which is probably why I have never, ever, not once in the history of everything ever, lost a game of never have I ever. I always win easy. Like a friend could say, never have I ever been drunk. And while most of the circle surrenders one of their fingers, overlapping it with other fingers laid down in defeat in rounds prior, I, with 10 fingers standing strong, laugh. I'm gonna win. And I know it. And I'm a sore winner. So I look at the circle, proud, and I say, never have I ever seen a pork chop. And the looks I get after that are usually just sad, but that's okay, because I win. The only game I can win for having such a clean slate, which is perfect because I never, ever have to worry about dirtying it up. As long as I have this game, it's better this way, see, because if anything should happen to me, there'll be nothing to slander my name with. Nothing to dig out the dirt. No dirt to dig into in the first place. I stay in line. I keep my head down. I keep my mouth shut, because I know how far they'll go to stretch a story wide enough to cover themselves, to repurpose slight character flaws for a guilt-free narrative. Should I be gunned down tomorrow? May the news headlines paint me beautiful, paint me truth, paint me in full color, not just in black, paint me human. May my shooter be villain in my narrative, not hero in their own. May the sound of their name be irrefutably disturbing. Should I be gunned down tomorrow, may you remember my words and know that I don't deserve to die. Know that I lived each waking moment so deep in fear of bullets that I forgot how to sin. And as you hear my words in this moment, remind yourself that the price for one small mistake should never be death. Remind yourself that the price for not following orders should never, ever be death. Remind yourself that a child, yes, a child that makes one mistake does not deserve to be shot and shot and shot and shot and shot and shot as he slowly crumbles, staring into the eyes of a gun-wielding, blue-eyed murderer with all the power and no mercy. Know that his mother, like every mother, did not deserve to see her son's blood flee his lifeless corpse as he slowly decayed in the middle of the street. He, like you and I, was human and therefore made mistakes. He was 18, but I'd trade him my chance to turn 21 if I could. Should I be gunned down tomorrow, know that I, like anyone else would be, was scared. When they dig up my mistakes that I'm too afraid to admit I've made, remember this poem. Know that I stayed in line the best I could, kept my head down, my mouth shut. Know that I have never, ever lost a game of never have I ever. 10 fingers always pointed to the sky.
Wow. She laid that thing out there. I didn't know where she was going at first, and then she broke it. She broke it down. Anybody want to comment on that?
It was good.
Never have I ever.
But I was saying the same thing. I didn't know what she was going, where she was going at first, but after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of went around the barn, but she brought it right back into it. Good writing, good stuff. Yeah, well, I know we're running out of time here tonight, and I appreciate everybody coming on. You know, as always, it's good to see you guys. And we only have a minute left. But you know, it's always a good thing to hang out here at the Writers Workshop. Anybody that's interested, want to come on and be a part of it, we'd love to have you come on. You know, just come on, correct. You know, come on and join the conversation. You know, we don't really want to close the doors on anybody, but you know, we got to be careful who comes on for hidden agenda and want to just try to mess it up for everybody. But I really appreciate Brother Neil Owens and his new book that's out, and gives us an opportunity to get to DC this coming Saturday. Up there in New York, you gotta arrange something for us to come up to New York. You gotta get up with the seal powder, you know, see what's going on. Really appreciate Brother you know, Bear for coming on tonight, and I wanted to get more of his reading as well and everything. But we're getting back on. And Sister Aisha Mobley, I'm telling you, she does great stuff, you know. So it's good to see her. But anyhow, I'm going to say, you know, good night to all you guys. Appreciate you, Brother Chris, for the videos. And, you know, hope everybody join us next week here for the Writers Workshop.
Good night, Nazil.
All right. Good night.
All
Good
right.
night, Good night, Neil. Okay, man.
Good night. Good
All right.
night. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, same to you.